5 minutes to get this going. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious what's happening here. But the topics on the list that I had were of several inconsistencies and several theories that are supposed to take place. And apparently they were true according to certain individuals. And I'll run down them. The first comment supposedly is that Insomniac called Wii U last gen. I find that kind of odd because somewhere in that conversation, I was told that Reddit isn't a trusted source, but that comment came from Reddit. There was a conversation he had on there, did an official post on Reddit, and that's where that comment came from, and that's how the article showed up. Rocksteady said that Wii U can't run their engine. It never at any point were those three subjects, Wii U, engine, and Rocksteady, were in the same sentence, nor were they stated by them. So I'm having a little bit of an issue with that. So Rocksteady never said anything about that. They talked about 360 and the PS3 and what was possible. And they mentioned about the Batmobile running at 25 miles per hour or something to that effect. Then somebody asked them specifically about the Wii U. Then they started talking about technology and how they make games based on the technology they have. And then that's how they ended up deciding what is going to be their target platform, which could mean several million things. But apparently that assumption can go directly into Wii U can't run their engine, even though they never directly stated it. And also, I guess this individual believes that Wii U has last-gen hardware, although there's nothing to absolutely assert that whatsoever. The only thing close to being quote-unquote last-gen or similar to last-gen is the fact that Wii U has a power architecture CPU. We don't know if it's power PC or not, which is what the other 7th generation consoles are not, or if it's a all new, brand new power architecture, considering it is multi-core, which is something that was impossible on the previous Wii U CPU. With regards to it being a modern GPU, all signs point to that, with it being able to serve as a true GPU, and with various effects such as what looks like true global illumination, hardware tessellation and things like that. Although, previous iterations GPUs were able to do that, and technically on paper the 360 was capable of that. It was never really implemented in any games because it would pretty much kill the system memory on the GPU. So it's a little bit of here, a little bit of there. There's a lot of things out there that are kind of missing, and we've all gone through these topics before. The issue is this individual that is supposed to be doing this debate with me is constantly leaving a comment on all of my videos, I suppose, to debunk things that I've been saying. And so I decided to invite him to this debate because he is constantly replying like every 10-15 minutes or so. And now magically there's no replies to this invite. So take that as you will. So if you are there, Alex Mercer, then you should join this hangout. So all the issues that have you been posting over the past 30 plus days or so, you can vent them all right now, because apparently there's really no changing your mind, and you went over like 90 different subjects here, so we can just hash them all out right here. So I'm your Huckleberry dude. Let's go. Da, 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 da. I hate to do another one of these and disappoint people, but I don't know. I kind of always anticipate this, no matter what actually transpires, because a lot of people like to hide behind keyboards and not really do anything for real. So, yeah. I'm still trying to see if I can get this guy on. I'm sending invites, multiple invites. So we'll see what happens here. I've been sending them for the past 10 minutes now, maybe more. Actually, I started it about an hour ago. Of course, he tried to ignore those and continue talking about the subject. And now he's magically not replying. My last reply to him on the Wii U versus XBONE PS4 Comparison 4.2 Part 2, which was actually a really good debate. It turned out pretty well, a lot better than the Part 1. 12:09 p.m. I responded to him because I just didn't want to deal with him anymore. He says, read my statement. Mario Kart 8 can't handle 1080p. The source itself is the game. If the game could run 1080p, wouldn't it run in 1080p in the final version? Not if Nintendo didn't want it to. I mean, not really. I mean, let's put it this way. Every high-end PC GPU can run a game in 4K. So why isn't every game that's coming out on PC running in 4K? Because developers choose not to. I mean, it's just fucking common sense. But apparently Alex Mercer, or whatever his pseudo name tends to be this day, decided to do this. And apparently he's probably a YouTube only individual. He doesn't do much on Google Plus from what I see. So, and obviously, and this makes sense. He doesn't make any videos himself. He just goes around and comments on other people's videos. So yeah, I'm kind of not surprised by what would be the outcome here. But I've sent an invite there, and the other reply. Let's see what the other reply is. He left here. He wants me to prove. I guess because his last comment was, his last comment. I guess this is what he tried to assume. He said, did anyone tell you you look a lot like Dr. Trey 81? I do not. He just looked at my shades and assumed the rest. And you even sound like him. No, I do not. Me and Dr. Trey do not sound like at all. I'm pretty sure he would tell you that if you asked him. And you are both Nintendo fanboys. No, not really. I have multiple platforms. I don't champion just Nintendo. I champion good games. One of which I want to play is Sunset Overdrive. And I talk about Killer Instinct way too much. Ask anybody that knows who I am. The only difference is he owns a PS4 LOL. Basically saying that Dr. Trey owns a PS4 and I do not. I guess that's what he's trying to assume. But unlike Dr. Trey, I've owned every console since launch, to include the Wii U, the Xbox One, and the PS4. I've done this for 5 generations now. Every system I get at launch. For whatever reason, that's what he wanted to assume. So I told him I own all those systems, and including a gaming PC. And then he decided to say, you don't own a PS4 nor a gaming rig. You're just a deluded Nintendo fanboy that can't get over how underpowered the Wii U is. So I decided to tell him to prove it. Prove I don't own a PS4 or a gaming rig. And this is what he decides to say. What is your PSN and Steam? If you have that, then you can prove it. It's not my decision to prove it if you're the person that said I didn't have it. If I don't have it, then prove I don't have it. But of course he can't. So, I mean, that's what he claimed. I mean, that's hilarious. And I talked about his broken argument regarding Reddit, considering his original source was from Reddit. But then he decided to say, because he thought my counter argument where Tim Price clarified his statement. Basically, this is the gist of the situation. An article that got circulated a lot by a lot of websites stated that Ted Price just Insomniac, they wouldn't say Ted Price himself, stated that Wii U was more of current gen and that they don't have any games in the pipeline for them. That's a big headline, blah, blah, blah. Well, very few websites decided to post what happened about 3 days later, and that was Ted Price clarifying his statement and saying that no, it shouldn't really be taken that way. Basically, what he wanted to mean about the Wii U was it was bandwidth, and by bandwidth he means the size of their development team, they stretched themselves too thin. That's clearly, that's what he said verbatim. Like, hey, we stretch ourselves too thin. So we specified on a target for the game. The game in question was Fuse, a shooter that Insomniac was working on. Don't know how well that went or what have you, but that was the game in question that caused all of this to happen or whatever. So he clarified all that. Almost nobody reported on it. And that came from an actual interview with a website in question, whereas the original comment came from Reddit. That was the original source for all these websites reporting on it. So he decided to say that my comment came from Reddit. Apparently, I guess is what he was assuming, when it was really his original comment. So it is what it is. He's obviously got his wires crossed here. He doesn't read any of his sources. This is what I call link bombing. Like, throw a bunch of links at people and say, oh, here's a link and it means this because I mean this, and here's a link, and you go to the link and it has nothing to do with what he was talking about at all. And you clearly could tell that either the person isn't literate or they just don't even try to read. All they read is headlines. And that is a very big problem with so-called gamers in this YouTube community and just at large. I mean, like, there's some websites that have the same problem, like very reputable websites that have the same problem. They read headlines and run with it. And there are some people that are smart enough. They know that if they create a certain headline, it'll get a certain amount of buzz. So they intentionally create headlines that way so people will flock to them. Basically, it's called clickbaiting, but that's neither here nor there. So out of his last 3 comments, all I responded to him with, out of multiple threads, I responded to him with, the gauntlet's been laid, with the link to the debate, and there's been no more from him. Never mind that he's been replying to me every 5 minutes since about 10 a.m. this morning. So obviously the kid is home from school. He's got a lot of time on his hands. So we can go ahead and do this debate, man. And so far, all of my notifications are coming from people trying to watch it. And it doesn't appear to be happening. So I don't know. I'll give him another couple minutes here. And if he doesn't show in the next couple minutes, I'm going to watch football, guys, because it is NFC Championship weekend, and I really want to see who's going to the playoffs this weekend. So I was hoping I could get this over with by the time that happens. So yeah, well, as of right now, I have 12:49 Eastern Standard Time. So we'll give him another couple minutes here, and we'll go from there. So if anyone, let's see here. Wow, I was trying to do something rather nice here, but it won't let me do it. I wanted to enable Q&A on this video, but it won't let me do it right now. So I have to go back and go into Google settings and fix that. So it is what it is. If anyone would like to leave me a question regarding these topics or these articles in particular, feel free to comment in the comment section down here. I'm pretty sure Alex Mercer will comment in the comment sections well after the fact, well after this video is not live anymore. So, you know, you can go ahead and voice your opinions with him there as well, and make sure you ask him why he didn't show, because he's online. He's online right now as we speak. So I don't know if anybody may know this guy or have seen him on other people's comments before, because he's been on other people's videos and Gamers at Large also. He's commented on a lot of their videos as well. So if anybody is familiar with this guy, kind of let him know he probably needs to be present. I've sent him the link multiple times, so he can get in. Other than that, I just released a video. Excuse the background noise. I just released a video on the Gamers at Large. On the Gamers at Large GLTY picks. I'll be doing another video probably pretty soon for some of the other picks that I have for some of the other platforms, to include PS4. Believe it or not, PS4 had a couple of decent games released this year. Unfortunately, the majority of them are games that have already been out before, but good is good, right? So, I mean, I even had fun playing Spelunky, and that game came out quite a while ago. But it's pretty cool how they added the little swipe functionality on the trackpad on the PS4. So that's pretty cool. I like that part. And I'll be talking more in depth about other titles like Dragon Age and stuff like that. So, and I actually have Madden 15 in my hands now too. So I know a lot of people kind of want to shy away from that because that's the jocks game. That's not really a real gamer's game. But however, I like some of the new systems in it. So I may record some video if I get time and then upload that also. So, but we'll see that. We'll see what happens from there. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up, guys. It's obviously not happening. This dude hasn't replied to anything. And I'll put it this way. If I replied to him it's to his comment, or if I replied to any of his broken logic in his comment and broke it down and started replying to it, I would have gotten a reply back like 4 or 5 times now. He basically would have taken that comment, replied to it, and copied and pasted to 3 other comment sections on different videos that I have on Google Plus. He would have done it like 3 or 4 times by now. And now that all of my replies have been linking to this video, I haven't gotten a single reply from him. So I think I know what's going on here. Little kids do this all the time, so it doesn't surprise me that this one is doing the same thing. So it is what it is. And as I always say, Shadowfall is infinite. Do you play games to have fun or impress other people? Good day, guys. Enjoy football.